I bought my cheating ex-fiancée's dream house as a wedding present. She was shocked and is begging to live with me. 10 years ago, my fiancé left me a few weeks before our wedding. We grew up in a small town. We were friends and went to the same school, but we never were in the same clique. She was one of the popular kids and I wasn't. A few years after college, I moved back home when my dad got sick and I found a job in my field about 45 minutes away from home. I would help take my dad to his chemo appointments and it was during one of those appointments I ran into her. She was now a worker at the hospital. One day while waiting, I asked her out. It turned out we shared a lot of the same interests so our relationship went great. About a year into dating her, I moved into a rented house so we could live together and then the following year, I proposed. We began looking for a house but she always wanted to live in her grandparents' house on the lake near our town. Her family was forced to sell the house when her grandparents died because of an inheritance dispute. 6 months before our wedding, a chance event happened. The couple who bought her grandparents' lake house had grown tired of our snowy winters. It took some work and nearly all of my savings, but I was able to buy her dream house. It was going to be my surprise wedding present so I didn't dare tell her or anyone in her family my plans. A month before our wedding, she and her friends went to Miami for her bachelorette party. I am not sure all of what happened there, part of me doesn't want to know, but I do know her high school ex-boyfriend was there. When she got back from the trip, she broke down and confessed she was afraid to get married and wanted to call it off. It was a mess. She later moved to Florida and eventually married her high school boyfriend. I ended up moving back to the city for an amazing job. In the meantime, I still had the lake house and with the help of my parents, we started to fix up the lake house. It took a few years. My mom and dad would look after the contractors while I was in the city. Having the house was perfect when everything was locked down because I could escape the city and work remotely from the lake house. I now live here full-time and work remotely. Then this summer we had the 4th of July at the lake house. My sister-in-law used photos from the lake this summer in her Christmas card and one of those cards made it to my ex's cousin. The cousin recognized the house. The Saturday before New Year's, ex's mother and sister were at my front door. After pleasantries and answering their initial questions, they made an offer to buy it but I refused and they were not happy. A few days I got a call from ex and this was the first time in about 9 years she had talked with me. She called me an SS for keeping this from her. But what made me was when she asked when she could move in. I asked, "What do you mean by that?" She paused and said, "I know this is just your way of telling me that you are still in love with me. I am just making it easier for you. No need for the chase." I was in absolute shock but I commended her audacity for thinking such. I told her, "We currently don't need a housekeeper but I'll save your number," and hung up.